Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Shiv Kumar News. Here I am only reading the Hindu newspaper. My purpose and aim is improving my knowledge and English only, nothing else. Therefore, please support and guide me. This is our first article. SC stay Lokpal order on power over judges. Special bench term or top anti-corruption ombudsman interpretations very disturbing as it pass an order giving itself jurisdictions to investigate complaint against High Court judges. Bench issues notice to the center the registrar of Lokpal bill and the complaint on those play on the January 27th order was passed. Court lists the case for March 18. Redefining jurisdiction. Lokpal's January 27 order defines the rules and conditions under which it will be inquire into complaints, arrest High Court judges. Supreme Court SC judges are the public servant under the Prevention of the Corruption Act but are not the public servant under the Lokpal Act. The SC was established by the Constitution. The HC pre-exist the Constitution and are only recognized by it. A judge of a High Court established by an Act of the Parliament will come within the ambit of expression. Any expression, Section 4 1 F of the Lokpal Act. There is a preconditions to consult the Chief Justice of India before initiating under Section 20 of the Lokpal Act a preliminary inquiry into a complaint logged against an High Court judge. Krishna Das Rajgopal, New Delhi. The Supreme Court on Thursday stayed a Lokpal order bringing High Court judges under its jurisdiction, terming the top anti-corruption ombudsman in interpretations very disturbing. Taking sumoto cognizance of the January 27 Lokpal order, a special bench of Justice B.R. Gavai, Surya Kant, and A.S. Okha, three senior judges of the Supreme Court and Collegium members, said it impacted the independence of the judiciary. The bench, in a brief hearing, was offered assistance by the senior advocate Kapil Sibal and B.H. Marlpale. 7 even as Solicitor General Tushar Mehta appeared for the union government. The bench is issued notice to the center, the register of Lokpal, and the complaints on Doodh Play or the January 27 order was passed. The court listed the case on March 18. It injected the complaints from the disclosing the name of the High Court judges in question and order the former to keep the contents of the complaints confident. Mr. Sibal said the court sorely needed to lay down the law on the issue. Mr. Mehta categorically submitted that High Court judges would never fall within the ambits of Lokpal public servant. The order of the Lokpal, chaired by the former Supreme Court Judge Justice A. M. Khanwilkar, was based on a complaint that an additional High Court judge had influenced an additional district judge and to later another High Court to decide in favor of a private company. It was alleged that the company has been a client of the judge during the latter earlier years as an advocate. In a 30-page order, the Lokpal concluded that the High Court judges were public servants and came within the ambits of the Lokpal Lokayukt Act of 2013. The anti-corruption body assumed jurisdiction to inquire or investigate complaints about the High Court judges on the ground that, unlike the Supreme Court, the High Court in India were constituted by the British Parliament Act in India Courts Act 1861 and the Government of India Act 1935 and the latter patents of the British monarch. In fact, the High Courts predated the Constitution. The Lokpal reason. Article 2 to 14 of the constitution, which said there shall be a high court of for each state, and only intrinsically recognize the existence of the high court. The constitution does not establish the high court, the Lokpal argue in the January 27 order. On the order other hand, the Supreme Court was completely a child of the Constitution, the ombudsman noted. A few days before the January 27 order, the Lokpal in a decision on January 3 had declared that it had no power over Supreme Court judges, including the Chief Justice of India. In the January 3 order, the Lokpal had explained that the Supreme Court was not a body established by the Act of the Parliament or financed or controlled by the central government. It had observed that the Supreme Court judges, including the CJI, even through the public servant in terms of the Prevention of Corruption Act, were not amendable to the jurisdiction of the Lokpal. Argument 2 naive. But the Lokpal, in its January 27 order, found the argument that a High Court judge was outside the ombudsman jurisdiction too naive. The Lokpal said it a High Court judges came within the ambit of the clause F of section 14 subsection 1 of the 2013 Act. A clause of section 14 notes that the Lokpal has jurisdiction over any person who is or has been a chairperson or a member or officer or employee in any body or board of corruption of the authority or company, society, or must or autonomous body by whatever name called established by the Act of the Parliament or whole of the part financed by the central government or controlled by it. The term any person in the clause will include a judge of High Court established by an Act of Parliament. In the case the judge is questions was serving in the High Court of the state, a reorganization by the Act of the Parliament, it pointed out. This is our new next article. Rekha Gupta takes charge as ninth Chief Minister of Delhi. Narendra Modi with Rekha Gupta and other ministers during the oath ceremony in Delhi on Thursday. Svika Mahajan write this article. Bharatiya Janata Party MLA Rekha Gupta took oath in the ninth Chief Minister of Delhi at the Ramlila Maidan on Thursday. A six-member council of ministers were also sworn into office in the presence of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and two other senior BJP leaders. Ms. Gupta will handle key portfolios such as finance, revenue, women and child development, services and vigilance, and other unallocated departments. The cabinet compromising Pravesh Singh Sahib Singh, who will handle the public welfare department, and water Ashish Sood, who will take charge of the home, power, education, urban development portfolio. Majinder Singh Sirsa given charge of food supplies, forest, environment, industry. Ravindra Indraj, who will look after social welfare, SC and ST welfare, cooperative and elections. Kapil Mishra, who has been handed the law and justice, labor, employment, tourism department, and Pankaj Singh, who will handle health and family welfare, transport, information technology. Hours after the new chief minister and minister were sworn in, BJP leader offered prayers to the Yamuna Ghat. Cleaning of the Yamuna expected to the BJP top priority during their 5-year tenure. Three-time Rohini MLA Vijender Gupta thanked the party for giving him the responsibility of the Speaker of the Delhi Assembly. Cabinet decision. After her first cabinet meeting, Ms. Gupta said the government would table 40 pending CAG report in the first seasons of the New Delhi Assembly and would also work toward the implementing the central flagship health insurance scheme Ayushman Bharat in Delhi as quickly as possible. Earlier, the first time MLA from Shalimar Bagh was administered the oath by Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by the BJP top brass, including the Union Minister Amit Shah, J.P. Nadda, and Rajnath Singh, and the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister of the several NDA ruled state. The BJP has came into power in the capital after 26 years with 48 seats in the assembly. This is picture. Final flourish. Welcome. A man walked down a snow-covered road in Shofiana district of Kashmir on Thursday. After nearly 2 months of an unprecedented dry spell, the Kashmir Valley received some rain and snowfall, raising hope for improved water availability. This is our next article. Governments not opposition rule state in South India reject proposal UGC rule. Policy pushback. What each said on the new guidelines. Kerala guidelines diminish the state rules inferring legislature power and lower academic standard. Telangana they undermine the state autonomy, disadvantage marginalized student and enforce unfair criteria. Karnataka guidelines imposes foreign models, promote the privatization and neglect economic accessibility concern. Now with Tamil Nadu they exclude the state from decision, impose financial burden and centralize power. The Hindu Viro Thiruvananthapuram. The government of the Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Telangana reaffirmed their oppositions to the University Grant Commission UGC Regulation 2025 at a convention held here on Thursday. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, who inaugurated the event, said the proposed guidelines could undermine India's federal structure by diminishing the role of the state government in higher education. The CPIM leader noted that the regulation would infringe upon the power of the state legislature, particularly regarding the appointment of the vice chancellor of the state universities. Political motivated. Mr. Vijayan condemned the provisions allowing non-academic, including the industry and public administration professional, to be appointed vice chancellor, calling it move politically motivated and detrimental to a academic standard. Telangana Deputy Chief Minister Mallu Bhatti Vikramarka echoed this concern, accusing the center and UGC of the undermining state autonomy in a matter on the concurrent list, opposing the proposed minimum enrollment criteria of 3,000 students per institution. The Congress leader said it would affect the college serving backward area. Karnataka Higher Education Minister and Congress leader MC Sudhekar raised concern over imposing the foreign education model without considering the India diverse education landscape. He warned against excessive privatization, arguing the policy must prioritize accessibility for students from economic weaker section. Tamil Nadu Higher Education Minister and DMK leader Govi Chejian said it was ironic that the state were being excluded from the appointment process while making them bear the financial burden of university. Leader of the opposition in Kerala, V.D. Sethasan, couched that the draft regulations would centralize the power and compromise academic excellence. The Congress leader alleged that the punitive measures outlined in the regulation were covert attempts to inject ruling party and ideology into the education system. So, guys, this is our first editorial. The transformation of Koraput tribal food basket, right by Rama Narayanan, is a senior fellow nutrition MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Akshay Kumar Pandey, senior development coordination MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, Jaipur, Odisha. J. Nithya is a nutrition scientist, MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. A community-based model of nutrition literacy is leading to change, with the predominantly tribal population in the district aware of the importance of the nutrition security. Now we start the editorial. Koraput, a district in Odisha, is a beautiful landscape rich in biodiversity and the home to a predominantly tribal population. But there is also paradox. There is a rampant poverty and undernutrition. There is no death of the government scheme in the form of direct feeding program or scheme for livelihood activity. Yet undernutrition levels remain high according to an estimate based on the National Family Health Survey 5 data 2029-21. 43% of the children under 5 years of age are stunned low height for age, and 33% are underweight. Only 70% are feed an adequate diet. More than the 50% of the women are anemic. The question is is that people can do themselves order to be have access to healthier diets and better environment. A transformation toward nutrition security between the 2013 and 2022, the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation MSSRF embarked on the community-based model of the nutrition literacy in order to empower tribal community to take action in diversity their household food basket with nutrition foods. The aim was to facilitate a transformative process spearheaded by the community to move toward the nutrition security as it an agriculture population with small and marginal land holding and engaging in subsistence farming and nutrition sensitive farming approach to maximize and diversify the food production was adopting along with sanitation hygiene and infant and young child feeding practice IYCF. Since transformation began in the individual level, it was decided to build the capacity of a core group of the adult men and women through a residential training program. The first step was essentially the community of its own nutrition statue. This involved assigning the nutrition statue of the women, children, adolescent, boy, and girl by taking their height and weight, consolidating the secondary data, and presenting them to the community. After the subsequent decision, villagers agreed to select a few men and women from every village representing various caste groups to undergo a residential training program on key nutrition concepts such as a balanced diet. IYCF practices the role of a dietary diversity sanitation and hygiene and enabling the nutrition sensitive agriculture that include the crop diversity background poultry and wherever possible species culture. A few student training program each about the 2.5 day long were held at periodic intervals over 6 months. These were the activities based on the including the group work, decisions, role play, followed by an analysis of the situation and possible solution. The approach was to engage participation in the dialogue to discuss the theoretical aspect from the perspective of their own knowledge rooted in the social, culture, economic, and political context. Participation discuss how caste, class, and gender dimensions affected the nutrition security of the different family members at the household level. They compared the new learning with their existing knowledge and were satisfied when some of their existing knowledge was restricted. Their perception of the dietary diversity were based on the dish count rather than the food group count. As one participation remarked, we never thought about the having both the dal and vegetable in the everyday diet so long as one was there as accompaniment to rice. We were satisfied. They were happy to know they were the custodians of the variety of a traditional rice variety collective are. While the social spaces are usually hierarchically determined, a residential training gave them an opportunity to engage with people from other village and with other gender. They they planned how they could introduce and cultivate more nutrition crops on a different type of land and their home garden. That explored with advantage of collective decisions making and action rather than the individual effort in demanding the government entitlement and raise their effort to improve household nutrition security would have to go beyond the boundaries of their own village to the panchayati level. Messages and songs were created and composed by the participation on the various themes such as balanced diet, dietary diversity, hygiene, sanitation, and sport to women. While they are aware of a few government entitlement, they were eager to learn about the many more. More than 200 men and women from over 70 villages were trained in the residential training program, become the community champion and transforming the theme self and their community. They identify further the training needs many improve agriculture producing covering seeds treatment, vermi compost use and use of the organic fertilization, mushroom production, past harvest technology and valued adding. These trainings program were organized in the village over 10 years. About the 1000 men and women were trained in the various aspects of the agriculture, animal husbandry and PC culture, such as that the community resource base for the nutrition security was created to address underlying issues of the undernutrition through the household nutrition security. The community champions share the various health nutrition messages with their family, friend, fellow villager when engaged in agriculture work on their way to the market, in the women self-help group meeting, or while at a tea shop, or even during the festival event. They also convene village meeting to discuss creating hunger-free villages. They lead by example. They undertook a range of activity, both individual or collectively. Those who had an upper hand began cultivating a variety of crops, many of them started growing more vegetable and fruit. Homes garden were revived and the diversity of the crops increased from the four crops at the beginning of the program to mine crops and time of completion. One woman champion got her land back from lease in order to resume agriculture activity. Another who was land less took a piece of land on lease to grow food crops. Another land less woman began growing vegetable using the foundation of the house she was constructing. Paddy fields that had been kept fallow after harvest were now used for pulses cultivation, making use of the residential moisture. Diversity in crop production was seen in Mothepera and Deregida. Names changed Panchayati in Boi Peride block, while earlier 71% of households were cultivating only 2 to 3 varieties of crop. More than 60% were cultivating 4 to 5 variety of crops. At the end of the project, about 90% of the household has operationalized home garden for about 5 months at the startup of the program. Toward the end, in more than 50% of household home garden were operational for more than 7 to 9 months. From growing our varieties of crop earlier, household began growing line of 11 variety. Household dietary diversity improved. There was a significant increase in the consumption of the pulses, leaf vegetable, tuber fruit, poultry, fish, and wild food. Some prepared to by compost and use it for their home garden. Most of male champions began to make decisions on agriculture decisions along with their wives. Women champions work closely with accredited social health activity Aisha and Anganwadi worker to spread the nutrition messages. Sanya of the Melingad village named Chain said, I gave my daughter leafy vegetable and rip fruit, dal, eggs because the anemic and was recently discharged from hospital. Facilitating chance village also monitor the direct feeding program under the integrated child development service in Lame Chain village. There was no Anganwadi center. The community women champion organized village meetings and spoke about the need for one. The villagers passed a resolution for the censure of an Anganwadi in their village, and the male champions followed this up with the block officer till the center was sanctioned. They supervise the building construction, and upon completion organization in integration. They also revive defined the village structure for the nutrition security, such as community green bank, discussing their village situation in the Gram Sabha village council meeting, and development and overall plan for a hunger free village. The wheels of change have been set in motion in Koraput's village, with the people pursuing their health and nutrition security. So guys, this is our next editorial about India China relationship. The long and winding roots of India China relations, written by Avinash Godbole, is a professor and associate academic dean at Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanity, JSLH OP Jindal Global University. True, India and China have attempted to move forward after Galwan abundant cautions may be the best way forward. India Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri was in China in January 2025, during which India and China made several announcements on the future of their bilateral relations. He met Wang Yi, who is China's foreign minister. Wang Yi, who is China's foreign minister and the director of the Office of Central Commission of the Foreign Affairs, and also Turbo members of the party, and also Liu Jianshu, Minister of the International Department of the Chinese Community. The Indian statement after this meeting indicate that the process of the restoration of the several aspects of bilateral relations, including media and think tank exchange, the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, and the bilateral flights, is on the cards for the summer of 2025. Possible reason: India and China have attempted to move forward after more than 4 years of tense and stalemate based relations since the clashes in Galwan in June 2020. Stalemates cannot be permanent. Both sides have made their points and moved to the details. One can argue that there are several reasons for the timing of this bilateral agreement. The man being the election of Donald Trump, who is a non-disruptor and unpredictable in this way of doing business. The other is about the economic concern in China and India. In recent time, India and China have been bracing for the Trump impact, especially when by the middle of October last year his election was already beginning to look more likely to happen. This possibility may have pushed the October 2024 de-escalation agreement between India and China, and Mr. Trump's gigantic electoral victory in November 2024 may have pushed the January 2025 agreement between India and China. There is a historic logic to this, as well as China agreed to normalizing relations with India after the 1962 war, only in the backdrop of the backlash in the aftermath of the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre against China may have agreed to normalize its relations with India, give that it has to brace for the Trump impact. Thus, there is both internal and external logic around the restoration of the normalcy. However, since we do not know whether patrolling rights are fully restored, or whether demobilization is in its advanced stage, such as absence of the communication on the part of the government raise doubt and question needlessly. At the LAC, the government of the India has maintained absolute silence on the statute of de-escalation, demilitarization, and demobilization of the fairly large number of troops were mobilized and deployed on the border first during the tensions of May-June 2020, and then in even larger number in the aftermath of the June 15, 2020 clashes. These troops were on the active duty or a newly created barracks close to the 6 point of tension along the border, including a Galwan, Dipsing, Bulge, Chariding, Nala, Gogra, Poch, and Hot Spring on the north bank of the Penguin Lake. There is also no clarity whether the large number of the People Liberation Army troops on the Chinese side before the after the clash have retreated to their bases. Confirmations of the war mean that the actual restoration of the normalcy on the line of actual controversy has been achieved. India has also made it clear in the aftermath of 2020 but that it was China that had violated the several agreement and protocol and the two sides had signed. One is not sure about whether these have been ratified in very favorable way. This in turn can only be established when the patrolling rights have not only been agreed to but also exercised. The briefing in October 2024 by the Foreign Secretary prior to the 6th BRICS summit in Kazan in this respect was already guarded. It only alluded to an agreement that would lead to the process of disengagement and resolution of issues that emerged in 2020. A follow-up briefing to this issue would have been useful and necessary to make it clear that India had not given up on its position on the bilateral relation. India principles stand in dealing with China in the aftermath of the 2020 crisis has been that the stability on the border and restoration of the status quo and are the precondition to progress in other aspects of bilateral relations. However, it was China that reiterated that the India should move on from the crisis and not yet border standoff be a hindrance to the development of the overall bilateral relations in economic, political, and social sector. The need for clarity. India silence on the progress on the statue of the restoration of the statue quo and make its appear as true. The Chinese position of the moving on is succeeding and that is abandoning its position of stability and restoration before they are in progress. On the other aspect, was always known that the process of restoring normalcy would be long drawn and fraudulent with challenges. In addition, the worldwide of India China will remain divergent as their idea about the world order are not going to converge anytime soon. India China relations have seen several clinical ups and downs in the Xi Jinping era. Therefore, abandon course would to be best way forward. The Indian government's lack of clarity does not boost one's confidence. So, guys, now we start short news. Nation and international people given the capital punishment in Iran in 2024. Norway based and Iran human rights IHR and French group together against the death penalty. ECPM said that the figure was the highlight since IHR began recording the execution in Iran in 2008. This makes a 70% increase from the 834 people recorded in 2023. The GDP growth rate in India as per Moody's analyzed 6.4% in its report. Moody Analytics said growth across the Asia Pacific economy will slow in the 2025 as trade tension, policy shift and uneven recovery knock the region's fortune. The report stated that the India's growth will slow down by 0.2% from 6.6% in 2024. Number of the criminals killed in Uttar Pradesh in 2017, 221 criminals were killed in encounter while 822 others were injured in operations targeting the criminal element in various districts of Uttar Pradesh, said UP Finance Minister Suresh Kumar Khanna on Thursday. The state also pursued cases against 68 identified mafia criminals. Numbers of troops Keir Starmer plans to send to Ukraine 30,000. The British Prime Minister said he is ready and willing to put UK troops on the ground in Ukraine as a security guarantee in the event of some sort of ceasefire deal between Moscow and Kyiv in exchange for American protection. Number of hostages still held captive by Hamas. 66 out of these Israel had declared 32 be dead. A total of 251 hostages were taken on October 7, 2023 by Hamas. So far, 137 hostages have been freed, of which 4 died in captivity and those whose body were released on Thursday. London, Britain, France propose European reassurance force for Ukraine. Britain, France are propose a European reassurance force of under 30,000 troops to protect Ukraine post ceasefire with Russia. This plan driven by the concern over US President Trump's potential favorable term for Moscow emphasizes air maritime defense while minimizing ground troops. Colombo, train in Sri Lanka runs over 6 elephants. No passenger hurts. Sorry. A Sri Lankan passenger train derailed on Thursday after colliding with a herd of elephants near a wildlife reserve, resulting in the death of 6 elephants. Fortunately, no passenger was injured. The government planned to implement measures to reduce such wildlife accidents in the future. Paraguay, teenager in Czech Republic held after 2 killed in knife attack. A 16-year-old on Thursday killed 2 women in a knife attack at a shopping center in Hradec Králové, Czech Republic. The suspect is Czech national was apprehended near the scene and knife was found. Police are investigating the motive and the Prime Minister Petr finally expressed the condolences. Washington, the top Republican right-winger collins to leave Senate in 2026. Senator Mitch McConnell, 83, announced he will not seek re-election in 2026, concluding a 4-decade Senate career. His retirement marked a significant shift in the Republican Party, reflecting its growing and radicalization. Mr. McConnell described his tenure the honor of a lifetime. From the archives. Now, this is our daily English session practice article. K. Subramaniam S. Upendra. This is the hopeless dictionary. Why do you say that? It does not even have the word thrice in it. That's not surprising. Thrice is not used this day. What I hear the word almost every day. Why only yesterday I hear on TV that some airline flies to Ahmedabad thrice a week. You are right, we in India use the word thrice every often, but the native speaker of the English does not use it. It's considered old-fashioned, and that's why some dictionaries don't include it. What do the native speaker use to instead of thrice? 3 times it's once, twice, 3 times. A native speaker would say I play tennis 3 times a week and not I play tennis thrice a week. But remember, you all find the word thrice used occasionally in party. I see. And speaking of tennis, what happened to your match? Did you win? We were skunked. I have never heard the word skunk used as a verb form. When you say you have been skunked, it means you have been completely defeated by someone. For example, I can say last year at Wimbledon, Goran Ivanisevic was skunked by Sampras in the third set. He did not win a single game in that set, did he? No, he did not. Thank goodness he did not get skunked this year. True. Can I say in the last election some of the national party were skunked by the regional party? You certainly can. But remember this use of word skunk as a verb in considering slang. It is used mainly in American English. Shall we drop this smelly subject of skunk and move on the something else? Sure, why not? What do you think of my new cap? It fits you well, thank you. I too think look good in it. I said it fitted you. I did not say the cap suited you. They mean the same thing, don't they? No, they don't. When you say your shirt fits you, it means it is of its correct size. It is neither big or small. All of us want to wear clothes that fit us, but not all of take care of work clothes that suit us. If your clothes suit you, they look good on you. The color and the style of the clothes look good on you. For example, I can say yellow and red are clothes colors that suit Siddharth well. Can I say pants don't suit Karthik? He looks better in a dhoti. You most certainly can, but in Karthik want to get into a five-star hotel, he did not better wear trouser and not a dhoti. That's true. I read the other day that journalist was not allowed to enter a five-star hotel because he was wearing a dhoti. The dhoti fitted the journalist, but it did not suit the hotel management. Published in The Hindu on July 18, 1995. So, guys, this is our today quiz, the daily quiz. Manipur has been in the news for political turmoil, but here is quiz on some prominent people from one of India's most important border state. Quiz made by Srivasan Ramanai. Question number first. Name the feminist social movement also known as the Guardians of Civil Society in Manipur Valley, which has played a major role in the fighting against drug abuse, alcoholism, crimes against women, and against the Armed Force Special Power Act. What does the name of this movement? Question number two. One of India's outstanding boxing, this athlete who was also part of the Indian Navy won the gold medal in the bantamweight weight category at the 1998 Asian Games in Bangkok. Name him. Question number 3. A Padam Shri awardee and Major Dhyan Chandra Khel Ratan Award winner, this weightlifting won the silver medal at the Tokyo Olympic in 2020 at the women's 49 kg even. Name her. Question number 4. Consider a leading exponents of the Indian classification dance form of Manipuri. The artist was awarded the Padam Shri in 1986 and Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship Award by the National Academy for Music, Dance and Drama beside the Tagore Award in 2014. Name him. Question number 5. Name the politician who has served as the Chief Minister of the state for the longest period, 15 years and 11 days. Visual question. Name this freedom fighter and later a Padma Bhushan awarded in 1982. So guys, this is previous year quiz question and answer the previous day daily quiz. The election commission became the 3-member body from the year 1993. This mathematician served as the chief election commissioner of Independent India, Sukumar Sen. The distinction V.S. Rama Devi tenure hold. She had a shortest tenure as election commissioner with 16 days. The nota auction was introduced under this person V.S. Sampath. This person served as CAC as the longest tenure. Kalyan Sundaram. Visual. Name this bureaucrat who is created with reforming the poll body. T. N. Session, who answered early bird. Siddharth Vishwanathan, Arun Kumar Singh, Sushma Datta, Tamal Vishwa, Parimal Das. So guys, this is today one important vocabulary word is glimmer. It is verb. Hindi meaning is jhil milana, meaning of fight. To shine without strength or not continuously. Synonymous gleam, glow. Antonyms dim. Example stand. A candle gleamed faintly in the darkened room. So guys, this is today video. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel for further more update and more video. Press bell icon for notification. Thanks for watching. We meet it tomorrow or next video. Jai Hind.